We're going to do a bit of an inquiry around fear. However, that might come up for you if it's something going on right now, or if it's a memory, if it's something that's a big thing in your life, or something that isn't so much. And there's such a continuum with fear as well. There's kind of low level anxiety all the way up to terror. So we could work with fear in a lot of different ways. A lot of people find that they wake up in the morning feeling quite anxious or feeling fear in their body. And so that's something that is an experience that often happens as well. And it doesn't make sense in a way because, when you first wake up, there could be something that you need to be afraid of, but normally there's nothing going on in your environment. Someone hasn't broken in or there's nothing like that. So the fear is some kind of a nervous system response to what's going on in our life generally and how our mind and bodies are more generally. Let's explore that a bit and just see what comes up for you as we're doing that. First of all, check in with your body and see if there's any level of fear or anxiety here right now. Close your eyes or soften your gaze and your attention inward. And we'll come to thoughts in a moment, but for now, just notice your body, your physical body. Notice how your body moves with your breath. And fear and breath and panic, anxiety, all of those are very intimately connected. So as you're starting and you're looking at what's happening in your body, notice what's happening in your breath as well. The experience of fear or anxiety in the body is often experienced as a tight breath. As it gets more extreme, we can go right up into the upper chest breathing, be very shallow. We might be holding our breath. Notice your breath. We're not trying to change it, just noticing what's happening in your breath. We're doing an exploration or an inquiry into fear. And we just start in our body. In particular, we're starting with our breath. Notice the pattern or the rhythm of your breath. And we can notice the breath as it's flowing in our nostrils. So when you're watching the breath in your nostrils, just notice what it feels like. Right now, we're just noticing that sensation of the air as it flows through the nostril. It's a bit cool on the inhale, a bit warmer on the exhale. As you breathe in, notice if you can feel it into the back of your throat. When is it that you can't feel that air anymore? And that's when the body has warmed it up enough that there's not a contrast in temperature. And then whatever's happening with the breath, with the pattern, let's do some box breathing for a moment. So inhale and then hold your breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And then let your inhale and exhalation happen naturally. Notice your whole body. What are the sensations in your body right now? We're doing a an inquiry or a looking into fear and anxiety. And right now, we're focusing just on the body and on the breath. One of the elements of fear is the thoughts in the mind. And the thoughts in the mind can be triggered by a sensation in the body, and then they also trigger more sensation in the body. We have kind of a loop that goes on. The first thing to do is to get ourselves kind of settled physically. And part of that is working with breath. So take a couple of deeper breaths. Notice if that feels okay to do that. If it doesn't, then don't. And then let's start working with that syllable boo. So as you inhale, just inhale normally. And then exhale, say out loud, boo. Let that go for your full exhale. And then inhale normally. Let's do this several times, whether you're feeling panicky or not. Let's just do the practice and see what happens. So inhale, exhale, boo. As you're exhaling, feel the vibration of that sound in your chest, your throat, your mouth. Exhale, boo. And then let your breathing come back to a natural rhythm. And even as we're doing this looking, anytime that you're starting to feel activated in your body, you're starting to notice anxiety is coming up more, fear, and just go back into one of those practices. Go into box breathing, to the longer exhale, either using boo or just counting silently in your mind. The one thing that we experience directly is that when we do one of these practices, that it works. So if we do box breathing, or if we do boo or longer exhales, they actually change the state in our body. They change our breathing. And there's so many other ways too. You could hold your hand, feel the warmth of your hand. You could put your hand on your heart, feel your feet on the floor. And especially if you're lying down, if you're on your back, see if you can accept the support that you have. Really settle in, that you can feel the whole back of your body. And if you're sitting, feel that steadiness through your seat, through your legs and your feet. And below the floor, there's construction materials of some kind. There's air and space, maybe. And then there's more wood or cement, depending on the building that you're in. And then at some point underneath the ground, there's that steadiness of the ground. Really kind of feel into that you're anchored onto the earth. You could visualize standing in a beautiful location, right with your feet on the earth. Maybe you're at a beach and it's in the warm sand, or on your backyard on the grass. Really feel that groundedness, that connection through your feet down into the earth. And we're still not paying attention to thoughts in the mind. So thoughts are coming into your mind, which is very common, of course. And as soon as you notice it, as soon as you see that you've gotten carried away by thoughts, then just bring your attention back. Notice your body, notice the groundedness. You're connected to the earth. And then notice your breath as though it's the healthiest, calmest breathing that you've ever done. So a really relaxing breath is continuous. It's even, about the same length on the exhale as the inhale. And we're not holding our breath. There's no sense of tightness or restriction. You could visualize that in your mind at the same time as you're working with that in your body. See yourself sitting or lying down, completely relaxed. As you're breathing in, the muscles of the stomach area lengthen. No tightness or tension at all in the belly. Inhale, you can inhale fully. And as you exhale, your whole body softens and settles. There's no hesitation at all. As soon as you've finished your out breath, you're ready right now to let the in breath come in. And as soon as you've got a nice full inhale, then you're ready to let go of the breath. We're anchoring ourselves to this rhythm of exhaling and inhaling. And we can trust that when we're finished inhaling, that we could exhale, let that go. We'll have another inhale in 3 or 4 seconds. And count in your mind the length of your breath. So part of this is we're giving our mind something to do. We're not following any kind of thoughts right now. Part of it is that an even breath is a good, stable way to breathe. So as you're breathing in, notice how long it takes you to breathe in. Maybe 2 seconds or 3 or 4, whatever it is. And then breathe out for the same amount. So if you're breathing into 2, and breathe out to 2. Into 2. Maybe at some point you can go to 4, 3. Let it be a kind of a gradual lengthening. Really keep the continuity in mind as well. Exhaling and softening. As soon as we finish the exhalation, and we go right into the inhalation, feel that expansion. And notice where the expansion is happening. Is it in your belly? Is it in your upper chest? If you're visualizing that perfect, relaxed, calm breath, it's the belly that arises as we breathe in. The whole lower part of the lungs are awash in oxygen, really breathing in oxygen, the nourishment of the air. And then we let go, we let the out breath happen. The mind is going into thoughts, bring it back. The thoughts of fear or panic or anxiety or specifics around that really rev up our nervous system. So we're not making our thoughts right or wrong. We're not trying to see if they're true or not true. We're just putting them in the background while we focus on the body for a minute. And as you exhale, notice the count, notice the continuity. When we're really relaxed, our breath is really smooth, with no jerkiness at all in the breath. And then let your breath be a little bit longer on the exhale. And if it feels like it's comfortable just staying with the even breath, then stay with that. If it feels like it would be okay to let your breath go a little bit longer as you breathe out, then you could do that. You might be inhaling to 3, exhale to 4 or 5, maybe up to 6. Work in a gentle way. It doesn't create any anxiety at all. Not important that you get to sit. Just softening, allowing a deeper breath. Keep your mind strongly focused on the count and on that smooth continuity of the breath. You can always go back to feeling the groundedness through your feet into the earth, to the back of your body. And then notice if there's any sensation or energy in your body that feels like anxiety or fear. Not remembered, but just right now. Is there anything in your body that's signaling some kind of alarm? And if there is, then we're going to just have a look at that. Once again, we're not working with thoughts, we're just working with the physical sensation now, the energy in the body. And when we notice the space around sensation, it helps us to remember or to acknowledge that sensation isn't forever thing. It's not forever in time, and it doesn't go on forever in space. Even if a sensation is very familiar, it feels like it lasts forever. There are actually times when we don't feel it, and then we might feel it again. The sensation comes and goes, and sometimes we get very caught up in sensation, and other times, like maybe now, you could watch the sensation. Notice if it has an image. Sometimes there's a sensation of color or shape. You could look at the image and tap on it and bring the image up and then start tapping between your forehead. Take your attention away from the image and just into the sound and the sensation of the tap. You could do that if there are thoughts coming up as well. And when most of your awareness is on the sound and sensation of the tapping, let that stop. Focus again on the image. And notice to see if that actually could hurt you. The image, not the sensation, it's the image. And if yes, look to see what it is about the image that feels like that. And if no, then just let the image be there. It's not a concern. Come back to the sensation in the body and notice the space all around the sensation. We're looking for some sensation in our body that indicates that there's fear here, or anxiety, or some kind of feeling in that spectrum. We notice where it is. And sometimes we'll notice that the back of our shoulder is activated. We're kind of bracing ourselves. And you could notice if that's actually the fear or if that's a reaction or a protective measure. Either way, notice the space around the energy in your body. And notice the qualities of the energy. Is it hot or cold? Is it moving? Is it still? Does it feel like it's here to hurt you? Do you need to be afraid of that sensation? Keep attending to your breathing as well, working with the breath, the body, sensation in the body. And in particular, space around the sensation. And sometimes there would be a sense of something that we're afraid of. So there might be some kind of alarm around that. If that's the case, you could look at that at the thought, words, or the picture. Maybe you're going to do some public speaking later and you're afraid of what might happen. Those kinds of things are something that we can work with. And often it's a more generalized anxiety. So we could just more pay attention in that case to the sensation. Is there something that it needs to say to let us know about, maybe? Often energy in the body is some kind of a early warning or a protective measure. Something at night needs to hear from us. These chronic energies of fear and anxiety in the body are a symptom that our system has been activated. It's often a long habitual process. We've had this happen over many years. And so our body has this sensation or this feeling that it's not quite safe. And if that's the experience, more than a sudden sharp fear that is related to something, then it can take some time to really do these practices on a regular basis. Get to know your body, your breath, to reassure yourself that even with that happening here, you could still have an experience of feeling better, working with your breath, noticing your body. Part of this is that we need to experience that we have the capacity to self regulate our own fear and anxiety. We could do box breathing, do boo, we could move our body, we could put our hands on our heart, we could go get a hug from someone safe, we could do all kinds of things that would help. But even when it feels like it's a intractable situation, like it's not really going to change, it's actually not true. We might not have been doing the right things. We might have been following fearful thoughts, and then it activates the body, and then the body gets alarmed, and there's more thoughts. And what I know from experience with myself and with other people is that when we break that cycle, when we don't go up into the thoughts and the, oh, what if this happens, or that kind of thing, that when we really work with settling our body, our breath, that with time, that anxiety and fear diminishes. So that's important to recognize in your own experience. Just look back for a moment to what's happened in the last 20 minutes and notice if your experience was exactly the same all the way through, or if in fact things changed as you went through the practice. When we really notice the positive changes, that when we did box breathing, that our system settled, or when we imagined the most relaxed we've ever been, that our breath actually got a bit smoother and calmer. That really helps to notice that that's how it works. There are ways that we can effectively work with it. And then when you're ready, open your eyes,